Welcome to another episode of Canadian Stacker in the Ottawa River National Park in between Quebec and Ontario. One side of the river is Quebec, the other side is Ontario. If you're new to the channel, we like to talk about precious metals and financial world affairs, along with other prepping and interesting topics such as what's going on over in Europe with Ukraine and developments in China and any other major financial information that may come up. But just remember, I'm just a dude by the river. None of this is actual financial advice. Please make your own minds up. I am not an accredited investor, and I know absolutely nothing aside from my 47 rotations around the sun and helping run a couple of major trucking companies and helping run a whitewater outdoor adventure and activity company. So today I figured rather than filming at the usual location at lunchtime, we'll go for a walk. So I'm going to do a little bit of walking today. Now, if the camera's bouncy, I apologize. Kind of like the other video the other day where I was up by the dam, you know, going for a walk. It was maybe a little disorienting for some, but well, we'll make the best of it, right? So today, what topics do I think are interesting today? Well, the U.S. government, like I've said in previous videos, is borrowing more money than normal. Well, not normal, because they're always going up, but faster going up than what they said. I believe the original estimate was like $784 billion, and they borrowed $1 trillion instead. They want the bank account balance above $600 billion. The reason for that, I believe, is they know interest rates are going much, much higher. I've been saying 6 to 7% is probably their target. I might be wrong. I've been hearing, you know, people saying, well, basically, you know, maybe 10% is the target. Any way you look at it, as the death of a currency accelerates, you know, things devolve quicker, like inflation goes up. But I'm thinking we might see a moment where the hyperinflation begins pretty soon. You know, like Europe is in a whole world of hurt. Like right now, oil prices are going up. They've gone up 20%. Uranium has gone up 20 or 30%. It's an all-around energy rally in what's going on. The S&P 500 looks poised to take a nosedive. You know, everybody says, oh, it's going to keep going. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people say it's going to keep going up and up. And, well, I can't see that. Like right now, we're putting into a double top position. You know, like the first top was back when Trump was in office. Now we're recovered from the pullback that we had, and we're nearing new all-time highs. Now, remember, these all-time highs are relative, right? They're not really new all-time highs because since the last rally and peak, there's been 20% inflation. So realistically, the dollar value of the Dow is devalued by 20%. So that 35,000 index you got to knock off 3,000, 6,000, about $7,000, right? So the 35,000 is actually only equal to 28, maybe 29. So realistically, the Dow isn't at a new all-time high. It's at a new all-time high for the amount of dollars, but it's not at a new all-time high for purchasing power. So like if you were back when it was at its all-time high of 35-ish last time, you would have been 20% better off in the grocery store. So I don't see it the way that they are wording it. So I view it as we're still 7,000 points short of nominal value where it should be to be equal to what it was. So, you know, 42,000, you know, like that's how inflation works. Now, remember, we are currently, in my opinion, in a major recession. The government changed all the indices on how that's all rated and determined. And, well, to be frank, the Dow looks like it's putting in like a bull market run, but we all know that watch this channel and watch other channels that what is seen with the economy and what is seen in the markets are two different things. Like when we were in full lockdown in 2020 and 2021, the Dow was just ripping, you know, going higher and higher, but everybody was unemployed. So we now know that, well, the stock market's the Wizard of Oz. You know, like it's just a place to suck money out of everyone, right? It's not really what they say it is. You know, it's a casino, and I totally think it's a casino. So, just a quick heads up of whereabouts I am. Lower Ostrom is to screen left. Upper Ostrom is the screen right. Broken Canoe is dead ahead, and then there's this little channel here that I never remember the name of. But I'm going to take a hike up to the end of the channel here and see if I can see our rafts. They're running Dragon's Tongue today, so they're a little bit slow because Dragon's Tongue is a Class 5 beefy thing that's attached to a rapid known as Garvin's Chutes. And Garvin's Chutes has 3 different waterfalls on it. It has Elevator Shaft, it has Dragon's Tongue, and it has Angel's Kiss, which are all separate and independent lines that you can take. Now, Angel's Kiss, I don't think I'd do that one, as well. It's not a very pleasant bottom experience when you go to do it. Man, this is a tough walk. Dragon's Tongue's a Class 5. And it's a beefy Class 5. It's quite impressive when you see it. I'm not going to be able to make it up there before they get here. I'll be lucky if I can make it up here before I hear them coming behind me. But and then you've got Elevator Shaft, which is a solid Class 4, maybe lower end Class 5 at peak water. But yeah, so back to the financial stuff. So yeah, currently I'm just seeing a bunch of the same patterning, you know. The dollar's looking like it's trying to be strong, but, you know, it's just the cleanest shirt in the laundry pile. You know, Japan is literally falling off of a freaking cliff with its bond market. Ooh, that rock gave way. Falling off a cliff in its bond market, and, you know, it's just a whole bunch of interesting times that we're going through. Now, another thing that they've been talking about is soft landing, hard landing, you know, like a cratering, you know, like where you crash nose first in a spiraling nosedive in a plane, and then what they're talking about, which is a no recession chance at all. Currently, yeah, I'm going to get in off the here if I can find another way in, because this is pretty rugged. But yeah, so before it was like 63% of financial analysts agreed that we were going to have a hard bottoming out, you know, and well, that number's dropped now to 58%. So 5% more believe that we're either going to have a soft or a hard landing. I mean, or no recession. So right now, 58% believe that we're going to crater in a nosedive. So that said, we've gone down 5%. So they're saying the markets look better. I don't know how that's possible. If you look at the overnight lending, the swap markets, and you know, they literally hit a new all-time high of swapping debt between themselves, and it's insane, the number. I can't remember, but it's in the trillions in a day, like swap back and forth between banks. Now, if that isn't a sign of what's about to happen, I don't know what is, you know. It's quite a terrifying thought that, you know, there can be that much money swapped between, I think it's 700 banks in the U.S., all on the U.S. credit swap line, and nobody in the U.S., aside from the people that run the program, are allowed to really know what banks are taking money, you know? Like, who's holding their hand out for the overnight repo market and who's not. You know, like, who, the government literally locked us out. We're not allowed to see that information anymore. Why is that? Well, they don't want us to know which banks are insolvent. Because more, they're all insolvent because it's all a Ponzi scheme. But they don't want us knowing who is worse off, you know, in the banking system. So Bank of America right now is looking pretty ugly. You know, like if you actually go look at you know, anything to do with them in regards to you know, where they're at with their ledgers, and you know, you'll realize with the prospectus that you can actually get, you can, as a shareholder of your bank, an unregistered shareholder, our guys are still at Dragon's Tongue, I can see them up there, they're unregistered shareholders, all of us, you have the right to ask for a prospectus on the bank in which you can look at their balance sheet and decide, hey, am I insane enough to stay in this bank? And for me, that's I gotta run with the bank, but I only keep in it what I have to have in order to, live. If I don't need it, I don't keep it in there. So I try to limit myself to the maximum amount that I have to have in there at any one given time. Okay, so I can see our guys. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome indeed. I knew I could get up here. It was just a question of how far up I could get, right, on the shoreline. So I'm at the top of Upper Ostrom. And way up there, if you can see it, that's Dragon's Tongue. Right in the middle, that beefy guy. I'll just zoom her in. You can see our team maybe on the rock. Right up there. I'll try zooming her a little bit more. Yeah, you can't really make it out, but that's Dragon's Tongue. That orange blob, that's one of our kayakers. We've set up, wow, that ever zoomed in. So we've set up safety on where that orange blob is. There's going to be two people standing there. More than likely, it's Kevin and David. And then up on the rock, we'll have James and who the heck else is on today? Jared. They'll be up there setting up. Now, if you look over here, you'll see this little waterfall area here. That's Angel's Kiss on what we call river left, because all the rivers are gauged by the downward side. So when you're coming down a river, the left and the right are what they are, and when you're looking up the river, the left and the right are what they are if you're traveling down. So that's Angel's Kiss, and that spot where you can see all the little yellow turds moving around, right there, there's a little spot with a little tiny bit of water coming over it. That's Elevator Shaft. Now, in higher water, like 5 vertical feet more of water. No, we're at negative 1.75. So in like 7 vertical feet more of water, Elevator Shaft comes in on the river, well, on the left side of your screen, and we run that side of the river. And currently, we're running the middle because there's not enough volume to run the other option. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take them to pull a boat, and bring it down, and you're probably not really going to be able to see it do its thing, but yeah, that's the Class 5 right there. She's pretty beefy. It's 16 feet down, over about 100 feet. It's got a pretty wicked tongue on it. Like, you can go look it up on YouTube. Just type in Ottawa River Dragon's Tongue, and you'll find the runs that go down it. You might have to type in rafting if you want to see a raft. Same thing with Elevator Shaft if you want to see it go. If you're interested in coming out and having an actual run and a go at what we do for a living down here, our season doesn't end until the end of September. We got about 7.5 weeks left. So you can go to whitewater.ca and you can book a trip through the company there, or you can click the About Us and find the phone number in there and make verbal contact if you'd wish instead. So we'll get back to some more talking about some other stuff. So anyways, yeah, basically that's back to the financial part, what I'm thinking with Bank of America. Like, they are the most teetering bank. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is since the 3 banks imploded and were bailed out, and those 3 banks were equal to all of 2008, 2 more banks have already imploded that haven't made the news, the main media. Okay, it's all been like not talked about, which is I find incredibly weird. Like, they'll talk about it, but it's like at night, and it's the 1-minute segment. Yeah, another bank collapsed, and move on, which isn't a fair way of looking at it. So with that said, we're already worse than 2008. So the great financial crisis of 2008, we've surpassed it with the banking crisis that we're having now, and in my opinion, we are already worse than it. And we're just at the beginning, like the opening, like we're in the first and second inning, and right now the bases are loaded, and we got Jose Canseco's coming up to bat. We got the crappiest pitcher in the league because the main pitcher, his arm blew out, and we got some guy that can only pitch a 65 mile an hour ball. And Jose, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember him. He's up at the plate, and he's eyeing up that baseball, and he's like, I'm going to smash this out of the park. And when he does, well, whoo-hoo, I wouldn't want to see the banking collapses. Now, I have noticed that I'm not getting a whole lot of comments and a whole lot of like buttons. If you guys like this content and you know, like you want me to continue putting out this this content, I really like it. If you guys could leave a comment, click the like button, and subscribe. The algorithm won't push the video out to anybody if I don't if we don't get likes on the videos. And I've noticed that my videos have been in a state of decline, like less and less likes. And I don't know if that's because people don't like what I have to talk about. Which, well, if that's the case, it's what it is. But I think more than likely I'm talking about stuff that the algorithm doesn't overly like too much, you know, and I talk about it straight up, and I use the real wording, you know, of what I see. And you know, a lot of people, they do that dancing around going and saying things like, for Russia, bear country, and for China, dragon country, and for Ukraine, they say bear country's enemy, you know, because they don't want to use the words, because, well, they get listed, right? And that's not always a good thing for a YouTube channel. And I would very much appreciate likes and comments, and it means a lot to me when you guys do post them. I consider your time the most valuable time there is, because when you're in this channel, you're spending time with me, listening to me talk about things that I find are important and matter to myself and maybe others. And what that does is, you know, it makes me feel like you guys, you know, like you guys matter to me, you know. Oh, we're running here. Well, I'll zoom in and see if we can actually see that. I'm not sure if you can see it, but here comes our boat. It's going to line up. It's going to, here, I'll zoom in. It might blur out. There it is there. So it's going to line up. They're going to shoot across a little bit more to the right. They're going to, to river left, which is your right. They're going to ferry over that way. And then once they get far enough over, you'll see the raft kind of drift. You'll see it drift a little bit to, from left to right, or for you from right. See, there they go now. They're going from your screen on the left. They're drifting behind the rock, and then you'll see them pound around and come out, and they'll come down that and make like a curved hook. They'll be there in probably about 20 seconds or so. So I'm just going to wait and see if they come. I'm just waiting here. They're currently over in the left side. I know that for a fact. They're probably just making sure that everything's lined up. They'll call a hard forward. And once they get to the top where there's no point of no return, where the seam starts to pour over, they'll yell, "Get down, get down, get down." And the front guide, the bow guide, there they come. The bow guide and the stern guide will take over the entire boat. And the only people running that boat will be the paddles going. I'll try to zoom in a little more. I hope it doesn't blur out on us. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. And they're down. And they're right in front of this little feature on it called Purgatory. So now the crew has to get back up and paddle as hard as they possibly can and come across. You see the ledge there? That's like a retentive ledge. Yeah, they made the line. I could hear them cheer from here. Hopefully you guys did too. That's pretty amazing though to see that firsthand. I know that I'm too far away to get a really good view on her, but this is the Esprit team. I love my job. I love where I work. I love my crew. I love the area. I'm a big proponent of outdoor activities. I'm a 47-year-old retired truck driver, basically, with some serious injuries from truck driving, and I try to make the best of it, you know, as I can. Right now the boat's pulling out there, and they'll climb out and they'll go and they'll stand, and then the next boat will line up and run. More than likely James has climbed out of that boat, and he's going to climb and scurry up the front of that rock face to go and run the second boat. We have 3 boats today, so they'll be running 3 independent boats down the line. So I hope you guys found that little bit there enjoyable. I wish I could have gotten closer, but for me to do that, I'd have to go for a much more substantial walk, and I might not make it back before they get there for lunch. But yeah, it's pretty amazing to see these guys doing this activity. Like Dragon's Tongue is a high-risk rapid. I'm not going to say it's without consequence. Now, once again, if you're not a professional, anything that I do on this channel, I do not recommend that you try to emulate it. There are many years of experience involved in whitewater rafting in order to get the serious skills required to do what we do for a living, including my nature walks. They may not look like much on camera, but I'm walking along a riverbed on the side with big boulders, and I'm hiking hills. Yesterday, I did a little bit of cliff climbing with the camera in my hand. Probably not the smartest of moves, but you know, I did it, and I'm just saying, please, if you're going to do this stuff, make sure that you have the right equipment and the right knowledge. Don't just go out haphazard thinking that you can do this and it looks easy, because it is not easy. We make it look easy because every single person that's on this river crew have at least 5 years of experience in doing this job. So like, we have 5 years experience, but not only that, we have outdoor wilderness first responder, we have our whitewater outdoor adventure certificates. We are heavily trained. Some of the people here have gone to college for 2 or 3 years to get their certifications, to make sure that we can keep clients in as secure a way to travel down the river as possible. We can never say safe, because nothing what we do on the river is considered by any standards safe. All it is risk mitigated. So, oh, there's James. He's almost to the top there. I can tell it's James because he wears all yellow, except for a white helmet. So everything we do is risk mitigated. They're loading in the boat now. I can see it up there. So just remember, please don't attempt to do anything like what I am showing you on the camera, you know, without assistance or without the proper knowledge and skills. And by all means, definitely never ever venture out into the woods by yourself alone, unless you have a mapped out plan and you know what you're doing. Like myself, I know this whole area. This whole area in here, this is my playground. I've been working here for years. I know every inch of the riverbed on the left and the right side of this river. I know about a kilometer into the woods, all the features and all the terrain, because we have to portage sometimes the rafts around, and I'm quite skilled at what I do. So, you know, I would never go out into a park or a location that I do not know without an emergency device either, because if you trip, slip, and fall, most places that are like this don't have cell phone service, and you're not going to get help. So I've showed this in previous videos. This is a Zoleo device. It makes my cell phone basically a sat phone. So I am safe and secure out here because I can contact help if I require it. If I slip, fall, and hurt myself, this is attached to a lanyard that's on my hip, and I can unstrap it. If I'm incapacitated, there's not much I can do about it, but I mean, like, I always travel with a beacon, and that is probably one of the most important things that you can ever have in your preparedness kit. You know, I'm not saying that you can use that in a prepping situation like a grid down event. It's probably not going to help you. The cell phone towers will be gone, but you got a hurricane coming inland. You live down in the continental U.S. and all your cell phone towers are knocked out, and you're going for miles and miles and miles, and there's nothing but flattened terrain. There's situations where tens of thousands of people get the inability to contact anyone, and their loved ones worry that they are not secure. And I'm telling you right now, that device I just showed you, this Zoleo device, whether it's a hurricane or an earthquake, because the satellites are in the sky, as long as you got a charge on your cell phone, this baby here will send a message to anybody you want with a cell phone number that's unaffected. So you could literally you know, you're in California and the big one strikes, and you know, like, your town is completely devastated, there's no power, there's fires everywhere. You can still contact your uncle in Phoenix, Arizona and say, I'm okay, Uncle Ned, I'm okay, you know, let the family know that everything's good. Or if you're, you know, you're in Florida and a hurricane hits, or you're in New York City and Godzilla attacks, you know, like, you'll be able to send out a sat message, and everyone will be fully aware and apprised of what's going on. I've had to utilize this on many occasions where I've lost a tire on my car, my vehicle while I'm traveling in the woods. It's gone flat and I need assistance, or I've had a radiator overheat because the water pump stopped working on a bus, and this device has saved my bacon. So I can tell you from experience that having this in your kit is probably one of the more important things that you could have in your preparedness bag for every old day regional disasters. Now, if it's a national disaster where, you know, like, it's screwed the whole country, it's not going to really help you. But if it's like a earthquake or a hurricane or a tornado, or you're lost in the woods and you can't make a phone call, this SAT device, if you're out in the woods, you're 50 miles from the nearest road, the nearest cell phone tower, the nearest house, you can pop this baby off and you can put a pin in and tell the first responders exactly where you are. It'll give a GPS coordinated cache location to whoever you send it to, and then they can contact whoever needs to come and get you. But there's one additional feature that are on these, and I'm not trying to sell you one of these. You can buy any brand you want. I am not sponsored by this company, but you'll see that there's this big SOS button here on the side. If you are absolutely desperate and you're unable to type, all you have to do, here, let me hang this so it's easier for me to show. All you have to do, okay, is flip forward this compartment here, and you'll see underneath it, it's an SOS button. You hold that button for 15 seconds, and everything that's within approachable distance to your location will be dispatched to save your arse. That is a $5,000 touch when you push that button. But you're going to get a helicopter right to wherever the heck you are, probably within, if you're within 50 miles of a helicopter pad, 60 miles within 30 minutes, you'll have a helicopter landing in front of you. If you're more remote, like 300-400 miles from a scene, I don't know how long it would take, but I would imagine within an hour or two, you would have like somebody rappelling down off a chopper to come and save your bacon, and that works anywhere in the world. Now, I'm not saying if you're in the middle of Zambezi River that a helicopter is going to come save your arse, in the Nile. Probably not. It's Western countries that have these kind of supports, and some other nations, maybe China might be able to do that kind of thing. If you're touring the Great Wall of China and you're out in the middle of nowhere doing the thing, they're pulling a raft down. So they've got walkers today. So we're not going to be running 3 boats. So you'll see this other raft here. It's sliding down. That means that a bunch of people have tapped out and they don't want to run it. They saw the first boat go and they're like, nope, that's not for me. And they're pulling down the boat. And once I see these guys starting to scatter to come down, I'll have to walk out, because for them to get to where I'm standing to run down here, it'll take them 5 minutes. For me to get back down to the bottom takes like the 7 minutes that I just talked to you to get to this point. So, and I need to be back before them in order to do that. But like I said, that Zoleo device is absolutely amazing. I recommend it for your kit. We also carry walkie-talkies. We carry the 25-mile radius. I think it's 40 kilometers, 42.5 kilometer radius walkie-talkies. I'm able to reach as far out from where I am right now, all the way up to my base camp, which is up this river here in a straight line about 25 kilometers. I can pull out my radio and I can go on squelch on our own private megahertz band number 1 channel. I don't know what we have it programmed to, and I can go and call out to base, anyone at base camp, and I'll get a response, and I'll say I require, and I can tell them what I need, and the resources we have at base camp will descend upon me. If it's not a immediate emergency, but just like a minor emergency, I can dispatch my own responders with my own crew, and they'll be here with either a boat or a vehicle, and they'll come in and they'll find me based off of my geographical location that I provide them. So yeah, so that's some good advice. Another thing that I'd always recommend, there are these websites that you can go to. There's a guy called Canadian Prepper. I watch him constantly. His name's Nate. He puts out stuff about this doctor who prescribes antibiotics over the phone. You do a phone appointment. They figure out what it is that you require. And for me, I always carry around this is my personal bag. This is not something that we bring on the river because we're not allowed to prescribe medication. But in my personal bag when I go out in the woods, I always carry 3 different spectrums of antibiotic, just in case I get a gunshot wound while I'm hunting from either a bullet that's a stray bullet that hits a tree and deflects and hits someone, or if I slip, trip, and fall onto a pine bough, like this guy right here, but this spiky piece is on the ground, and I put this through my abdomen, or I put this into my arm, I can start my antibiotics immediately. I always carry that in my first aid kit. I would also say that you should get a Israeli sucking chest wound patch for your kit. This will, if someone's got a like a lung penetration and they're aspirating, you can put that patch over. If it's bubbling out that red foam, the orange foam, you can slap that patch over and you can stop a sucking chest wound with it. It's a trauma kit piece, level 3. You can look them up online. It's basically a sucking chest wound kit. I carry one of those as well, just in case. Now, it might sound over the top, but I also carry a full suture kit in my bag as well. You can order those off of the internet. And I would strongly recommend, if you got the stomach to do it, having a suture kit's kind of important for you to carry. A long time ago, when I was 22, 23 years old, I was working as a logger for a farmer, and I was the topper. So when the tree was dropped, I would drop all the boughs off the tree, and I'd get everything off and get it ready to be bucked up and dragged out in logs for being turned into wood, or milled wood, or into stove wood, depending on what it's like. And the tree was dropped, and I went up to start my usual cutting, and I was doing an upcut on a 20-inch diameter limb on the tree, and my employer at the time didn't realize that I was already at the tree, and he topped the whole tree. He chopped off the top 10, 15 feet, and that changed the weight dimensions of the tree. And because I'd already cut 3/4 of the way through my bough, my limb, the tree rolled, and it drove the chainsaw straight down and into my leg. And I got I'd say about a 5-inch laceration on my leg, about a half an inch deep, ripped right through the skin, right into the muscle. I had this beautiful purple-looking wound there, and I limped over to my boss, who heard me yell. It cut right through my chap pants. I was wearing chap pants, but those big chainsaws don't give a flying rat's arse about you and your chap pants. It cut that gash in my leg, and I went up to him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, that looks pretty crappy." And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, if you go over to the pickup truck there, you'll find a white box." I'm not kidding you, man. This is true story. There's a white box there. You guys can go over there, and you can sit on the tailgate, and you can sew your leg up. You're not spitting blood, so you don't have an artery severed, and you're not drooling it out really fast. So there's nothing too major. So go over there, sew that skin shut, and then there's a patch in there that you put over top of it, and you wrap your leg in some duct tape. So I'm like, "Aren't you going to come help me?" He's like, "I don't got time for that. I got to keep cutting this tree, and that doesn't look too bad." He treated it like it was a paper cut. Ultimately, it needed 37 stitches on the outside and 22 on the inside when I got to the hospital to close it. But when I stitched my own leg shut, and I patched it, and I wrapped it, I had a hard time putting weight on it. I was able to walk. I went up to him. I said, "Okay, I got it patched up, but we need to go. I need you to take me to the hospital." And he said, "The keys are in the truck. Drive yourself. I'll send my wife and myself down to pick up the truck from the hospital later today. Get yourself to the hospital." And that was a 25-mile drive out some gravel roads to the main road, and then another 6 to 8 miles to the hospital from there. So it took me an hour to get to the hospital. I walked into the emergency room, and the nurse told me to take a seat in a triage chair. And I said I hit my leg with a chainsaw, and she looked over, and she could literally see the blood behind the saran wrap and the duct tape. And long story short, I went in and saw the doctor, and he asked me how I got there, and told him I drove myself. And well, he was completely shocked at it. There's another company coming up now. You can see them paddling in the blue-colored canoe raft there. They will not run Dragon's Tongue. No other company on the river runs it other than ourselves. They'll eddy out on river left or right camera. For you guys, you can see another one over here at Angel's Kiss. They're going to pull off. There's a spot that they go for lunch. I'm just currently wondering why our third boat hasn't run yet, because I was hoping to show you that. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself and a past experience that I've had. And it's a real story. Like that's not a BS story. That really did happen. I've got the big scar on my leg, and when John, if you come down, I'll show you the big scar on my leg if you want to see it. Yeah. So, but that's probably about all I should cover for today. This is a pretty long video already. It's 32 minutes, and like I asked, before, if you guys could click the like and the share, and if you're not subscribed, consider clicking that subscribe button. I try to do regular updates, like weekly or bi-weekly, like 2 a week. Updates. Sometimes I don't get 2 a week pushed out. This week's going to be a good week. I'm going to get 3 or 4 out. But if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow when you guys click the like button and share the video around. And hey, John, are you going to get first comment again today? You're going to get that 50 first, or is somebody going to beat you to it? If you're new to the channel, John, one of my loyal subscribers, I've got a few of them. He always seems to tap that comment button first. So if you see this video and you're the first one viewing it, and you don't see any likes or anything like that or any comments, as soon as you get in the first 30 seconds, I want you to type in first. That way, John doesn't get it and you break his streak, because he's got this thing going on where no one's ever going to beat him to the comment. I think he's like, I don't know, 15 first comments in now, so try to beat John on that. So anyways, I don't see them loading the boat. Well, maybe they are. Maybe they are. No, they're not loading the boat. Anyway, so basically, I really appreciate everybody who came to watch this video. Like always, I hope you have a great day, and awesome things happen for you, and until next time, this is Canadian Stacker. Keep your thumb to the, gotta readjust my camera. Keep your thumb to the sky and keep on keeping on and having a great day. Oh, they're rowing out. That would figure. I think they're rowing out now. Well, I'll just wait a minute. Maybe I'll have to give you the sell speech for the end of the video again. If I see them coming, I'll I'll keep talking. I see a boat there. I'm just not sure of the color yet. Yeah, she's white, so we're running. All right, so hey, we're going to go into overtime. So same thing as last time. They're going to ferry over to river left, camera right, and they're going to go behind the big rock over towards Angel's Kiss over here, where that entire company there that's on that side, they're over there eating lunch, and they're going to have to watch us while they're over there eating lunch run the line, you know, and they're going to be wondering, hey, why are they running the line and we're not running the line? Well, that's because our company is trained above industry standards, and we have some of the best river crew in the world. The Ottawa River is the second largest volume commercially raftable river in the world. Only the Zambezi outdoes us in peak season when we're in May and April. We could be pumping up to I believe the record was 1 million cubic meters of water per second, like a square kilometer of water per second coming down this river. Like where I'm standing right now, there would be a river running right through this bush where I'm at. So they're drifting. And like I said, they've gone behind the rocks. So now what they're going to do is they're going to set up for that big charge from left, river left to river right, and they're going to drive down, and they're going to try to hit the left side, sorry, for you guys, the right side of that the reactionary there. There's a little piece at the front of the tongue, and they're going to come down. They're going to try to plop right in front of that orange kayak. There's 2 safety crew there. I don't know who's there now. But they'll try and do that, and then right in front of those 2 guys that you see in front of that kayak that's orange, there's a big hole there. You can kind of see a little bump. It's maybe 5% of the screen height that's right beside that orange kayak. When they plop over that, that's a seam that'll actually hold the boat. The boat can't get out of that, and one of the guys will have to jump in and pull the boat out. And, you know, they'll have a guy to pull them out with a rope and drag the boat out, because there's... Yeah, always pay attention to your surrounding. You never know what's happening behind you. And they'll pull them out and drag them out. Or if a guest should happen to fall out of the boat, they'll watch them and see if they can make the swim, or the boat can pick them back up. Here they come, and they'll see if they can, if they need rescuing, and they'll jump in to get them out of purgatory, which is a really nasty hole. I've been in there, not the move. Oh, there we go, and boof, 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 boof. We got a swimmer, I think. Yeah, we got one swimmer there. The boat has recovered them. All right, so that's that. So once again, there's a second boat for you guys today. I'm trying to shoot video footage of a rapid. Once again, this is Dragon's Tongue. It's on the Ottawa River. From my current position, as you can tell when I zoom the camera, it's about half a kilometer or 1/3 of a mile away from me. And I'm trying with my telescopic view to zoom in to give you guys a quick view of what we do. They're coming down, so like I said, I got to scurry when they start coming down. So once again, you know, I hope you guys have an amazing day. And if you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and sharing the video. And until next time, keep having an amazing day. Put your thumb to the sky, and that's it for today, Canadian Stacker. Until next time, have a great one.